Hi everybody and welcome back to the channel. Today we've got a one-story video, full story with updates and closure. Guy's girlfriend spends every night at her so-called study partner's apartment until 2 a.m., calls him jealous and insecure every time he asks about it. So he makes one phone call, finds out the dude isn't even a student, and quietly moves out while she's over there. Leaves a spreadsheet of every dollar he spent on her sitting on the kitchen counter. What follows is pure chaos. Timestamps are below if you want to skip around. Let's get into it. My girlfriend called me insecure for questioning her late-night study sessions with some guy. One phone call exposed everything. So I moved out, left a spreadsheet of every dollar I spent on her, and watched her world collapse. All right, Reddit. My girlfriend had me believing she was grinding through law school every night at her study partner's apartment. Turns out the dude wasn't even in her program, wasn't even a student. He graduated years ago, so I quietly packed up my entire life, moved out while she was over at his place, and left her a parting gift on the kitchen counter she'll never forget. Here's how it all went down. I'm 28 male, and I work in commercial property management for a mid-sized firm in Charlotte. Been with the company about 5 years, worked my way up from assistant to running my own portfolio of retail properties. Nothing glamorous, but it pays well, and I'm good at it. The kind of job where attention to detail and keeping spreadsheets actually matters, which turns out to be a useful skill when your girlfriend is running a double life. Been in my apartment for about 2 years. Nice place downtown that I snagged when the market dipped. 1 bedroom, updated kitchen, good building with actual security. My name on the lease, my security deposit, my furniture. I furnished the whole thing myself over about 6 months. Real stuff too. Not the particle board garbage that falls apart when you look at it wrong. Leather couch I saved up for, solid wood coffee table from an estate sale, 65-inch TV I bought myself for my birthday. Not flashy, not Instagram worthy, but it was mine, and it was solid. My girlfriend Kira, 26, I met at a friend's birthday party about 2 years back. She was finishing her second year of law school, stressed but still fun, still ambitious in a way that attracted me. She had this energy about her, like she was going somewhere, and I liked that. We clicked immediately. She appreciated that I had my own place, my own career, my own financial stability. Said she was tired of dating guys who lived paycheck to paycheck and expected her to split a $12 appetizer at Applebee's. I appreciated that she was driven and had actual goals beyond just existing. The first year was solid. Real dates, real conversations, real support for each other's work. When she moved in 6 months ago, it felt like the natural next step. She was in her final year of law school, stressed about grades and the bar exam, and my apartment was closer to campus. Made sense for her to save money on rent and commute time. What I didn't fully realize was that saving money meant I was now paying for literally everything. Rent, utilities, groceries, her phone bill, her gym membership, even her school supplies. She contributed absolutely nothing to the household expenses. When I brought it up once, she said she'd make it up to me after she passed the bar and started earning real money. Seemed reasonable at the time. Investing in our future, right? But it wasn't just the big stuff. It was the constant little things that added up fast. Every grocery run was on my card. Every time we ordered takeout, my wallet came out. Her gym membership, $90 a month, billed to my account because she didn't have a credit card that worked anymore. I even bought her a new laptop when her old one started crashing during final exams. $1,200. She thanked me by barely looking up from the screen. The thing is, I wasn't keeping track to be petty. I kept track because that's just who I am. Property management runs on spreadsheets and documentation. So every expense had a line item, every payment had a date, and without even trying, I'd built a perfect financial record of exactly how much it costs to date someone who sees you as a walking bank account. Now, Kira had this study partner named Dante Morales. According to her, they were in the same section, had all the same classes, and absolutely needed to study together because he had all the textbooks and his apartment was quieter than ours. On the surface, that tracked. Law students study together. Group study sessions are normal. What wasn't normal was the schedule. She'd leave around 8 p.m. and not come home until 2 a.m. Sometimes later. Sometimes not at all. 3, 4 nights a week. Always at Dante's apartment. Never at the law library. Never at a coffee shop. Never at the school's study rooms that were literally designed for this purpose. Always his place. Always late at night. Always with her phone face down on the counter before she left. I brought it up exactly twice before the night everything changed. First time, she told me I was being silly. Second time, she called me jealous and asked if I needed to work on my trust issues. Both times I backed off, because that's what you do when you love someone and they tell you your concerns are ridiculous. You trust them. You believe the person you're building a life with isn't lying to your face every single night. Okay, hold on. Let me jump in here for a second because I need everyone listening to understand what's actually happening. This is textbook gaslighting. For those who don't know, gaslighting is when someone makes you question your own reality so they can keep doing whatever they're doing without being challenged. She's going to another man's apartment multiple nights a week until 2 in the morning, and somehow he's the one with the issue? She turned a perfectly reasonable concern into a character flaw. Called him insecure. Called him jealous. Made him feel like a psycho for asking the most basic question any boyfriend would ask. And the worst part? It was working. He was actually starting to believe he was being unreasonable. That's how effective this manipulation is. If your partner makes you feel crazy for asking where they are at 2 a.m., that's not a relationship. That's a hostage situation with better furniture. Anyway, it gets so much better from here. Let's keep going. Last Tuesday night was the final straw. I'm sitting in the living room eating ramen for the 3rd time that week because Kira couldn't be bothered to cook, and honestly, neither could I at that point. She was getting ready to leave, scrolling her phone, barely acknowledging I exist. The energy in the apartment was that familiar mix of her treating me like furniture while I pretended not to notice. Heading to Dante's again? Don't wait up. That's the 3rd time this week, Kira. She didn't even look up. We have a huge exam next week. This is what studying looks like. Every single night, though? Can't you study here? We have a kitchen table, decent Wi-Fi, and I promise to stay out of your way. That's when she rolled her eyes so hard, I'm genuinely surprised they didn't get stuck in the back of her skull. Here we go again. Another jealous boyfriend speech, right on schedule. I'm not jealous. It's just weird that you need to study at some dude's apartment until 2 a.m. multiple times a week when we have a home right here. His place is quieter. Plus, he has all the textbooks and case briefs. We could buy the textbooks. I'd pay for them. I pay for everything else. She let out this theatrical sigh like I'd asked her to explain quantum physics to a golden retriever. You're so insecure. Dante and I are just study partners, nothing more. Then why can't I meet him? In 2 years together, I've never once met this person you spend more time with than me. Because you'll make it weird with your jealousy. Asking to meet your study partner isn't jealousy, Kira. Yes, it is jealousy. You don't trust me. We've been together 2 years, living together for 6 months, and you still can't trust me to study with a classmate. Do you know how exhausting that is? I sat there for a solid 10 seconds, just looking at her. The dismissive expression. The phone clutched in her hand. The backpack already packed by the door. The complete absence of any concern for how I felt. Something shifted in me right then. Not anger, not sadness. Something much colder and much more useful. Clarity. You're right, Kira. She blinked. What? You're right. This is the last one. Last jealous boyfriend speech. I'm done bringing it up. She studied my face, trying to figure out if this was a trap. Then she decided she didn't care. Good. Finally. Can I go now? Sure. Go study. She grabbed her backpack, gave me a pathetic peck on the cheek like she was checking a box on a to-do list, and walked out the door. I watched her drive away in the car I'd helped her buy when her old Honda died last year. Put down $3,000 for the down payment because her credit was destroyed from years of student debt and impulse shopping. Then I picked up my phone and made one call, the call that started every domino falling. My buddy Garrett works in IT at Kira's law school. Good dude, really reliable, helped me move into this apartment, and I helped him move out of his last place. He had access to the student information system as part of his job, maintaining the school's network and databases. Hey Garrett, quick question. You know a Dante Morales in the law program? Dante Morales. Which one? Studies with Kira, same section supposedly. Dude, Kira's in section B. There is no Dante Morales in section B. Not even close. My stomach dropped about 6 floors. You're absolutely sure? Positive. I literally just updated the roster last week. The only Dante Morales in the entire law school is in Section D. Completely different classes, different schedule, different professors, different building half the time. They would have zero academic reason to study together. I hung up and sat there in the silence of my apartment, ramen going cold, brain running calculations faster than any spreadsheet I'd ever built. No Dante Morales in her section, not even in the same wing of the building half the time. So who exactly was she studying with every single night? I pulled out my laptop and logged into her phone bill. I paid for it, obviously, like I paid for everything else. Scrolled through 3 months of call history, and one number jumped out immediately. Constant texts throughout the day. Hours-long phone calls late at night. FaceTime sessions at midnight and 1 a.m. that lasted until 2 or 3 in the morning. This wasn't study partner communication. Nobody FaceTimes their study buddy at 1 a.m. for 2 hours. That's not exam prep. That's pillow talk. Did a reverse lookup on the number. Dante Morales. The guy was real. But I went one step further, ran his name through LinkedIn. And there it was. Dante Morales. Marketing manager at a tech startup in Charlotte, graduated from a state university 3 years ago with a business degree. Professional headshot. Endorsements for digital strategy and brand development. Not a single mention of law school, legal studies, the bar exam, or anything remotely related to what Kira claimed they were doing together. Not a study partner, not a classmate, not even a student. The guy hadn't been in a classroom in 3 years. Just some dude named Dante who worked in marketing and had an apartment that Kira liked visiting while her boyfriend sat home eating ramen and getting called insecure for asking basic questions about it. I closed the laptop, took a deep breath. Most guys would have blown up her phone immediately, driven to Dante's apartment, made a scene. But something about the systematic way she'd lied to me, the casual cruelty of calling me jealous while she was the unfaithful one, that rewired my entire response. She didn't deserve my anger. Anger is emotional. Anger means you still care enough to fight. What she deserved was something worse. Calm, methodical, documented consequences. Wait. I need everyone to understand how smart this move was. One phone call. That's all it took. He didn't hack her phone, didn't stalk her, didn't do anything shady. He asked a buddy a simple yes or no question, and the entire lie collapsed like a house of cards. And here's what makes this OP absolutely elite level. He found out the truth and did not confront her. Do you know how much self-control that takes? Most guys would be in the car already, driving to Dante's apartment, ready to kick down the door. Not this dude. He knows the truth now, and instead of blowing up, he goes quiet, starts planning. The restraint here is honestly scary in the best way possible. This is a man playing chess while she's out there playing tic-tac-toe. But watch what he does next because it gets even better. I didn't confront her. Didn't blow up. Didn't send a single passive-aggressive text. Wednesday morning, Kira walked in yawning and complaining about how exhausted she was from studying so hard. I made her coffee with my coffee maker, using my coffee in my kitchen. Wished her luck. Heading to Dante's tonight, big study session, don't wait up. Have fun studying. She paused at the door, maybe noticing something in my tone. But she shrugged and left, because people who've been lying successfully for months don't expect it to suddenly stop working. They get comfortable. They get sloppy. And that's exactly when you get them. Wednesday and Thursday, I executed my plan. The apartment lease was solely in my name. Kira had moved in as a guest, never added to the lease, never paid a single dollar of rent. I photographed every item in the apartment with timestamps. TV, couch, bed frame, kitchen appliances, bookshelf, dining table. Everything purchased by me, documented with receipts. Property management trains you to keep records. Turns out that habit isn't paranoia. It's preparation. Then the master spreadsheet. 6 months of expenses. Rent, utilities, groceries, gym membership, phone bill, school supplies, gas money, the car down payment, a laptop for her classes, and dozens of smaller charges. Every payment documented with dates, amounts, and categories. 6 months, $14,200. That's the price tag on being someone's financial safety net while they spend their nights with another man. Thursday night, Kira didn't come home at all. At 3 a.m., my phone lit up with a text. Fell asleep studying. Crashing at Brit's. Love you. Brit was her best friend from college. The automatic alibi. The safe name to drop when you need a cover story at 3 in the morning. Except this time, I didn't just accept it. I texted Brit immediately. Hey, is Kira okay? She said she crashed at your place tonight. Brit responded within minutes. What? I haven't seen Kira all week. Is everything all right? Everything's perfect. Thanks, Brit. Screenshot. Saved. Another lie documented. At this point, I had the phone records, the LinkedIn profile, the fact that Dante wasn't in her section, and now proof that her best friend alibi was completely fabricated. The case was airtight, and she had no idea it even existed. Friday morning, Kira came home to shower and change. Hair still damp from someone else's shower, smelling like unfamiliar soap. The audacity of walking through my front door like she was returning from the library. Sorry about last night. Study group ran super late. No worries. How's the exam prep going? So stressful. Dante thinks I need extra help this weekend. Might need to put in serious hours, Saturday and Sunday. The whole weekend? Nolan, don't start. Actually, I'm not starting anything. I'm going out of town this weekend. Fishing trip with the guys. Her face literally glowed, like someone had handed her a winning scratch-off ticket. A whole weekend of uninterrupted time with her marketing manager, while her jealous, insecure boyfriend was out of town, catching base somewhere. That's perfect. I can really focus on studying without any distractions. Exactly what I was thinking. I did go on a trip that weekend. Not fishing, apartment hunting, found a clean one-bedroom closer to work. Good building, reasonable rent, quiet neighborhood. Walked through it Saturday morning, signed the paperwork by noon, put down the deposit. Move-in available immediately. Saturday afternoon, while Kira was off at Dante's, I packed. Not frantically, not emotionally. With the same methodical precision I use when organizing property files at work. Clothes into suitcases and garment bags. Electronics boxed with their original packaging. Personal items sorted by room and labeled with a marker. Hired 2 movers for the big furniture since the couch, bed frame, dining table, bookshelf, and TV were all mine. The movers didn't ask questions. One of them looked at the half-empty apartment and said, "Moving day or escape mission?" I told him both. He nodded and kept loading boxes. I took one last walk through after everything was out. Vacuumed the carpet marks where the couch had been. Wiped the counters. Made sure everything was spotless. Not because I owed her anything, but because that's who I am. Even when the person left standing in the empty apartment absolutely deserves a mess, I'm not the type to leave one. By Sunday morning, everything I owned was gone. What remained told the entire story of Kira's contribution. Her clothes, her law textbooks, her yoga mat, and some overpriced scented candles she'd bought with my money. 6 months of living together and her total contribution fit in 2 suitcases and a backpack. That's not a partnership, that's a sponsorship. On the kitchen counter, I left 2 items. First, the printed spreadsheet, $14,200 across 6 months, organized by category, highlighted in yellow. Every dollar accounted for. Second, a note. Kira, your last jealous boyfriend has moved out. Apartment is paid through the end of the month. After that, the rent is on you. Or maybe Dante can help since you spent so much time at his place. Good luck on your exam, if it actually exists. Nolan. P.S. Brit says hi. Sunday evening, my phone went nuclear. 17 missed calls. A wall of texts. What did you do? Where is everything? This isn't funny, Nolan. You can't just leave. Answer your phone right now. I sent one text back. Studying for my own future. Don't wait up. Then I blocked her number, ordered takeout to my new apartment, and ate dinner on my own couch watching my own TV in complete peace. Okay, hold on. I need to talk about this spreadsheet because this is absolutely genius and I need everyone to appreciate it. He didn't just leave. He left receipts. Literally. $14,200. Itemized, categorized, highlighted in yellow, sitting right there on the counter for her to find when she walks in. That's not just a breakup. That's an invoice for services rendered. And that note at the end? P.S. Brit says hi. That single line told her that every lie had been exposed. The fake study sessions, the fake alibi at Britt's place, all of it. She walked into that empty apartment and knew in about 3 seconds that the game was completely and permanently over. Also, this man vacuumed the carpet marks from the furniture before he left. He's petty and polite. That is a rare combination, and I am absolutely here for it. Now let's get into the meltdown, because it's beautiful. Update 1. Posted the following week. Monday morning, I woke up in my new apartment, made coffee, stood by the window looking at a different view of the city, and felt something I hadn't felt in months. Not anger, not sadness. Relief. Pure, clean, uncut relief. No complaints about the temperature. No dramatic sighs. No phone buzzing with Dante's texts at midnight. Just peace and the first honest morning I'd had in a long time. Meanwhile, Kira hit Category 5 meltdown status. She tried calling from different numbers. I let every single one go to voicemail. The voicemails were fascinating in their progression. First came confusion, then bargaining, then anger, then threats. It was like watching someone cycle through the stages of grief in real time, except the thing that died was her free ride. Texts came through on every platform. Instagram DMs, regular texts from friends' phones, even a message through LinkedIn, which is a whole new level of desperate. We need to talk. This is a misunderstanding. You're overreacting. Then the anger kicked in. You're pathetic. A real man would face me. You basically stole from me. I'm calling the police. Everyone's going to know what you did. Good luck calling the police about a man who moved his own belongings from his own apartment. Tuesday, she deployed the flying monkeys. Her older sister Piper called me. Nolan, what's going on? Kira's losing her mind. She says you moved out without warning and took everything. I took my stuff, Piper. Everything I paid for, which was everything. Ask her about Dante. Her study partner. What about him? He's not in her law school section. He graduated 3 years ago with a business degree. He works in marketing at a tech startup. He's not a study partner. He's not a classmate. He's just some guy she's been spending every single night with while I sat home covering her rent, her bills, and her entire life. Dead silence on the line. The kind of silence where someone's entire understanding of a situation gets recalibrated in real time. Oh, Piper said quietly. Yeah. Oh. She told me you were controlling and jealous, that you wouldn't let her have friends or any kind of social life. I asked to meet him one time. One single time. She called me insecure and told me I was giving jealous boyfriend speeches. That was the full extent of my so-called controlling behavior. Another long pause. I'm sorry, Nolan. I genuinely didn't know. Now you do. Wednesday, Kira showed up at my office building. Security called my extension. Mr. Nolan, there's a young woman named Kira demanding to see you. She seems pretty upset. Don't know her. Must be confused. She says she's your girlfriend. I don't have a girlfriend. Please escort her out. Watched from the window as security walked her to the door. Screaming about her rights, mascara running. The security guard looked like he'd rather be defusing an actual explosive device. Thursday, Britt reached out. Kira's own best friend. Admitted she'd known about Dante for months. Kira had told her they were basically over, just staying together out of convenience until she finished school. Said she planned to leave right after the bar exam. Just needed my financial support to get through. She was using me as a piggy bank with a 6-month timer, I told her. And honestly, that's exactly what it was. Friday brought legal threats. Some law school classmate drafted a scary-looking letter about unlawful eviction and theft of joint property. My attorney cousin Ryan laughed so hard he could barely talk. Drafted a response explaining she was a guest with no tenant rights, all items were solely mine with receipts to prove it, and further harassment meant an immediate restraining order filing. The threat stopped overnight. Now hold on, let me break something down here because there's a clear pattern most people miss when they're in the middle of it. First, she tried the victim approach. We need to talk. This is a misunderstanding. When that bounced off him, she tried anger and intimidation. You're pathetic. I'm calling the police. When that didn't work, she sent her sister. Then she physically showed up at his workplace. Then she went full legal threat mode. This is what's called an extinction burst. For those who don't know, when a manipulator loses control over someone they've been manipulating, they don't quietly accept it. They rapidly escalate through every single tool in their toolbox to try and regain that control. Crying, anger, guilt, family pressure, intimidation, legal threats, one right after the other, each one more desperate than the last. And this OP stonewalled every single attempt. He didn't respond emotionally to a single tactic. Didn't budge 1 inch. That takes serious backbone. That takes the kind of self-discipline most people just don't have. But we're not done yet, because the karma train hasn't even pulled into the station. Update 2. Posted 1 month later. The following week, the universe delivered karma in bulk. Turns out Dante Morales had a girlfriend. A serious, committed, living together girlfriend. Colleen, a registered nurse who worked the night shift at a hospital downtown. That's why Kira could only study at Dante's apartment late at night. When Colleen was at work pulling 12-hour shifts, the place was empty. Kira's study schedule wasn't built around exam prep. It was built around another woman's work schedule. After I left, Kira got desperate, lost her financial support, lost her apartment, lost her comfortable life. So she went all in on option B. Showed up at Dante's apartment on a Tuesday afternoon, probably rehearsing her "I left him for you" speech the whole drive over. Small problem. It was Colleen's day off, and Colleen answered the door. Colleen found me on social media about a week later and sent me absolutely everything. She'd been building a case of her own. Screenshots of Kira begging Dante to leave Colleen and be with her for real. Dante responding that the whole thing was just casual fun, and he never promised anything serious. Kira threatening to expose everything if Dante didn't commit. Dante calling her crazy and telling her to back off. The best part? Colleen had already known for weeks. Found evidence on her own, been collecting screenshots and documenting patterns, waiting for the right moment. When Kira showed up at the front door like a desperate character in a bad movie, Colleen let everything detonate at once. Colleen sent me security footage from the apartment building's lobby. Kira coming and going at all hours with overnight bags. Never once carrying textbooks. Never once with a laptop bag or study materials. In one clip, she's holding takeout and a gift bag. In another, she's wearing a dress that nobody puts on to review case law at midnight. The footage told the whole story better than words ever could. Then Colleen went scorched earth. She was connected to several people in Kira's law school through mutual friends and nursing school classmates who'd crossed paths with law students at university events. She made sure every single one of them knew the full truth. The study partner who wasn't a student. The fake sessions that were actually sleepovers with another woman's boyfriend. The lies about being in the same section. The fact that Kira's boyfriend had been paying her way through law school while she spent nights at another man's place. Kira's reputation at school didn't just take a hit. It evaporated overnight. Her actual study group kicked her out within days. Classmates she'd considered friends started avoiding her in the hallways. People she'd studied with for 3 years suddenly had zero interest in being associated with her. In law school, where your reputation and professional network are literally the foundation of your entire career, she'd just set both on fire. And the real karma? That big exam she'd been supposedly studying for every single night? The one she couldn't possibly prepare for at our apartment because it was too noisy and Dante had all the textbooks? It was real. Worth 40% of her final grade. She failed it catastrophically. Worst performance in the entire class. All those nights she was supposed to be studying, she actually genuinely needed to be studying. The exam covered case studies from sessions she'd skipped to be at Dante's place. Practice problems she'd never attempted. Legal frameworks she'd never reviewed. A professor I'd met once at a school function reached out privately. Said Kira had missed every crucial review session leading up to the exam. Sessions where key material was covered, where practice questions were worked through, where the professor specifically highlighted what would be on the test. She missed all of it. She was now at serious risk of not graduating on time. Okay, pause. I need everyone to sit with this for a second because this is poetic justice on a level I rarely see. She used studying as her cover story, right? That was the entire foundation of the lie. I'm at Dante's studying. She said it every single night for months. And because she spent all her supposed study time doing everything except studying, she failed the actual exam. The lie literally became its own punishment. She didn't just get caught cheating on her boyfriend. She cheated herself out of her own future. The career she was supposedly building while lying to the OP? She torpedoed it with the same lies she used to sneak around. That's not just karma. That's karma writing a whole essay and turning it in with citations. And I haven't even told you the best part yet. That exam she failed? The one worth 40% of her grade? The one that might cost her an entire year of law school? It was on professional ethics. Professional ethics. I'm going to say that one more time because some of you might be listening while driving or doing dishes, and I need you to hear this clearly. She failed her professional ethics exam because she was too busy being unethical to study for it. The universe wrote that punchline, and honestly, it's funnier than anything I could ever come up with. All right, let's finish this up because the 3-month update is just as satisfying. Final update. Posted 3 months later. 3 months have passed. Here's where everyone ended up. Me, I'm doing better than I have in years. New apartment is perfect. Clean, quiet, completely mine. No one else's shampoo in the shower, no one else's phone buzzing at midnight. Just my space, organized the way I like it, peaceful in a way I forgot was possible. Work has been great too. Without the constant stress of a relationship that was secretly falling apart, my focus improved dramatically. Got a performance bonus for landing a major tenant in one of my retail properties. My boss commented I seemed more present lately. Funny what happens when you're not spending every brain cell wondering where your girlfriend is at 2 in the morning. I started seeing a colleague named Leah about 6 weeks ago. She works in the finance department at my firm. Has her own career, pays her own bills, drives her own car, and has never once called me insecure for asking a reasonable question. The first time I asked her to dinner, she actually showed up on time. She actually enjoys spending time with me. Not because I'm funding her lifestyle, not because I'm convenient, because she genuinely likes my company. That's a wild feeling when you've spent 2 years being treated like an ATM with a pulse. Without Kira's expenses draining my account, I finally started that investment portfolio I'd been planning. $14,000 over 6 months. That's what I was spending to subsidize someone who was actively betraying me. Every ramen dinner I ate alone, every bill I covered without complaint, every "don't worry, I'll pay you back after the bar exam" was money thrown into a void. Now it's invested and growing instead of funding someone else's double life. Kira couldn't afford the apartment on her own. Turns out when you've been contributing exactly $0 to rent and bills for 6 months, you have no idea how much life actually costs. Tried to find a roommate, but word had gotten around campus. Nobody wanted to live with someone whose reputation was a smoking crater. Had to move back in with her parents at 26. Back to her childhood bedroom. She failed 2 more classes on top of the first one because she was too distracted trying to salvage things with Dante to show up to actual lectures and study sessions. The real ones. With actual classmates. Covering actual material. Had to repeat the entire semester. The bar exam she was originally preparing for got pushed back at least a year. Dante ghosted her completely after Colleen left him. The second consequences showed up. His interest evaporated like it never existed. Stopped answering calls, blocked her on everything, pretended the whole thing never happened. Also turns out Kira wasn't even his only situation. Colleen told me he had at least 2 other women rotating through on different nights. She wasn't special to him. She was just available when Colleen was working the night shift. A schedule filler with an overnight bag. Last I heard, Kira's working part-time at a legal aid clinic, trying to rebuild her professional reputation from the ground up. Living with her parents. Taking the bus because she can't afford car insurance. Her social media went from future judge and law school grind content to inspirational quotes about learning from mistakes and becoming a stronger version of yourself. The classic post-implosion Instagram rebrand that fools absolutely nobody. The entitlement never fully went away though. A mutual friend showed me a post she made about how men can't handle successful, ambitious women. The comments section ripped her apart. Girl, you cheated and failed your classes. That's not what success looks like. Maybe focus on actually studying this time. Team ex-boyfriend, honestly, that spreadsheet was legendary. She deleted it within hours. but screenshots live forever. Most satisfying moment came last week. Ran into her dad at the hardware store. Mr. Lawson was always a decent man. Old school, quiet, believed in doing things the right way. Nolan, how are you, son? Doing well, Mr. Lawson. Really well, actually. I'm sorry about everything. We didn't raise her to be, well. He trailed off, looking down at his shoes. It happens, sir. She talks about you. Says she didn't appreciate what she had. I thought about that for a second. Thought about the ramen dinners and the late nights alone and the eye rolls and all the times she made me feel crazy for noticing the obvious. She appreciated it, Mr. Lawson. She just thought she could keep it while shopping for something better. He nodded slowly. The heavy nod of a father who realizes his kid turned out different than he raised them to be. That's painfully accurate. Take care of yourself, son. You too, sir. We shook hands, and I walked out of that hardware store feeling something I hadn't felt in a long time. Not anger, not satisfaction. Just peace. The quiet, steady peace of a man who respects himself enough to walk away from someone who doesn't. That phone call to Garrett started everything. One simple question tipped the first domino, and every lie she'd built over months came crashing down behind it. She realized what happened when she walked into an empty apartment and found that spreadsheet. When her alibi about Britt got exposed in a screenshot. When her classmates found out everything was fabricated. When Dante chose his real girlfriend over her without a second thought. When she had to box up her stuff and move back into her parents' house at 26. But mostly she realized it when she saw me thriving without her. When the insecure, jealous ex-boyfriend turned out to be neither insecure nor jealous. Just a guy who finally decided he was done being disrespected. She was right about one thing that Tuesday night. It was my last jealous boyfriend speech. Because I'm not her boyfriend anymore. And I'm definitely not jealous of whoever inherits the privilege of funding her next adventure. She used to roll her eyes at my concerns and wave me off. Now she's rolling her eyes at her parents' house rules and entry-level legal clinic paperwork. Karma isn't always instant, but it's thorough, and it keeps receipts. Oh, and that exam she failed? Professional ethics. You genuinely cannot make this stuff up. And that is where this story ends, folks. This OP is one of the smartest, most disciplined guys we've covered on this channel. He didn't yell. He didn't beg. He made one phone call, found the truth, and quietly removed himself from the equation. No drama, just results. And now she's failing professional ethics while he's building an investment portfolio. If you're ever in a situation like this, don't react. Document. Protect yourself. And when someone hands you the label of jealous boyfriend, prove them wrong by walking out with your dignity intact. Like the video, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.